Good morning to all. Welcome to chemistry class. So in our yesterday's class we have discussed about the thermodynamics theory part. So few of the problems already we have discussed and few more left, and that we are going to solve in our today's class. So the question is, calculate the number of kilojoule of heat necessary to raise the temperature of 60 gram of aluminium from 35 degrees Celsius to 55 degrees Celsius. The molar heat capacity of aluminium is. So what a molar heat capacity is given, and what a heat we need to find it out. That is what the question is. So we shall solve the question. So we have heat capacity. When you consider heat capacity, Q is equals to, Q is directly proportional to delta T, or Q is equals to C into delta T. This is what heat capacity. So heat capacity we have solved, that is heat capacity C is equals to, if you remember the formula you can write it directly, or if you won't then you can solve in this manner. So molar heat capacity we need to find it out. So molar heat capacity is given and heat you need to find it out. So molar heat capacity, if at all if it is written, so molar heat capacity is equals to heat capacity divided by number of moles. So molar heat capacity, if at all if heat capacity is substituted in this, and if you solve for heat, then it becomes Q is equals to molar heat capacity into number of moles into change in temperature. So this is what the formula, how it will be, how if at all if it is being solved. Substitute C is Q by delta T, then solve for Q. Clear? Now, so now we need to calculate number of moles here. So number of moles is nothing but number of moles of aluminium is equals to mass of aluminium divided by molar mass. Mass is given as 60 gram divided by molar mass is 27, and that is equals to 22.22 mole. So number of moles are number of mole is 2.22 mole. Clear it is now. So now you substitute for molar heat capacity is given, and the number of moles we have calculated delta T. So delta T, either you can convert that one to Kelvin and you can write it, or you can directly take the difference of that one and you can write it. So it is not necessary that always to convert that one to Kelvin only, because we are calculating the difference. So the difference in temperature delta T is nothing but T2 minus T1. So if you consider in terms of degree Celsius or in terms of Kelvin, the difference remains the same. No change in that. Clear? So what T2 they have mentioned is 55. 55 directly I am taking minus 35, and that is equals to 20 degrees Celsius. So the difference remains same. So what either it is 20 degrees Celsius or it is in terms of Kelvin. Clear? Now substitute the values for Q. So Q is equals to, so molar heat capacity it is already given, it is 24 joule. I am writing all the units there, so that to get the unit properly at the end. So Q is equals to Cm we have, that is molar heat capacity we have substituted. Number of moles it is 2.22 mole into we have delta T. So delta T in terms of Kelvin only will take, because here Kelvin it is. So that's why it is difference is 20 Kelvin. Clear it is? Followed? Now, so per Kelvin, Kelvin gets cancels, per mole, mole gets cancels. Now if you calculate all these things, so if you are calculating all these things, then you'll be getting the answer as 1065.6 joule. And this can also be written as 1.067 kilojoule. 1.067 if at all if it is rounded off, or it is 65, 1.065 kilojoule. Clear it is? So answer usually heat or energy is been. Either it may be delta H or it may be delta U. It will be always it will be always written, or it will be always mentioned in terms of kilojoule itself. Clear it is? Next we'll move on to the next question. So that is for the reaction at 298 Kelvin, we have 2A plus B giving rise to C. Delta H is equals to, delta H value is given, delta S value is given. At what temperature will the reaction becomes spontaneous? You need to calculate the reaction at which it is being converted as spontaneous. So the temperature we need to calculate. So already we have a formula. So the reaction is given, an equation is given. So along with that, delta H and delta S values are given. So we need to calculate the temperature. Temperature delta H and delta S, all together it is related. All together it is related with the formula, and that is what called Gibbs-Helmholtz equation. Gibbs-Helmholtz equation. And what is that Gibbs-Helmholtz equation? Delta G is equals to delta H minus T delta S. Delta G is equals to delta H minus T delta S. You have delta H, you have delta S, as well as you have temperature also. But the thing is, delta G is not given. So now what we are going to do is, so we want temperature, we have these two terms, we don't have delta G. So that's why we are going to consider the condition at equilibrium. At equilibrium, what happens? At equilibrium, delta G is equals to 0. Clear? Now, so at equilibrium, delta G is equals to 0 means delta H is equals to T delta S, or T is equals to delta H by delta S. Clear? So calculate substitute the values. T is equals to delta H is 400 kilojoule per mole, and delta S is 0.2 into 0.2 kilojoule. It is 0.2 kilojoule per mole per Kelvin. Clear it is? Kilojoule per mole per Kelvin. So that is what the substitution. Now try to solve it. So if at all, if it is being solved, you'll be getting the answer as 2000. So kilojoule per mole gets cancels. Per Kelvin, if you shift, then it becomes Kelvin. So we have the temperature as 2000 Kelvin. So what we can conclude is, so the question is not only about what the temperature you are finding. So at what temperature will the reaction becomes spontaneous? So when the reaction becomes spontaneous, that is what the question is. So when you consider this equation, delta H is 400. Delta H is 400 minus 0.24 delta S, and temperature, if at all, if it is substituted to 2000 Kelvin, then this delta part becomes, T delta S becomes negative. So that is negative, and this is 400, a smaller value. So that means that, so delta G is negative. So if delta G is negative, then the reaction is spontaneous. We have a condition that delta G should be negative, then the reaction is spontaneous. Clear it is? So if at all, if the temperature is 2000, then the reaction is spontaneous. So in actual, the value of this one is actually, it is 2 kilojoule. 2 kilojoule per Kelvin per mole it is. Clear? So what here in this problem, we have 0.2. But in actual, the problem, we have the delta S as 2 kilojoule per Kelvin per mole. So here no problem. At 2000 Kelvin, at the temperature of 2000 Kelvin, the reaction becomes spontaneous. But we have one more question where delta S is 2. Clear? If delta S becomes 2 here, then so the temperature becomes, this is another question I'm explaining, where delta S value is 2 kilojoule per Kelvin per mole. Clear? Now, suppose if at all if it is 2, then temperature will change to 200 Kelvin. If temperature is 200 Kelvin, we'll substitute here. We have delta G. Here it is already 400 minus temperature is 200 into delta S is 2, which is 400. Clear? Suppose if at all if the temperature is more than 200, then the delta G becomes negative. So now it is 0. Clear? If suppose the temperature is more than 200, then delta G becomes 0 because this value is going to increase. This value increases. You can't change delta S, you can't change delta H. But temperature, if it is more, then delta G becomes negative. That is nothing but the reaction is spontaneous in nature. So at that time, we can say if temperature greater than 200 Kelvin, then the reaction becomes spontaneous. Here no problem. Now the temperature, if it is 2000 Kelvin, the reaction is spontaneous. But here if at all if our delta S is 2, then temperature should be greater than 200 Kelvin, then only the reaction becomes spontaneous. That's how we need to relate the spontaneity with the temperature. Clear? Next question. So for the reaction 2Cl giving rise to Cl2, what are the signs of delta H and delta S? So here what is happening is, so atom we have, 2 atoms we have, and 2 atoms is combining together and forming one molecule. Both are in gaseous only. So, but 2 atom is been combining to form one molecule. A bond is formed. So here 2Cl separately they were, and they have combined together and a bond is formed. Whenever there is a bond formation, delta H will be negative. So why delta H is negative? So delta H is negative, because during the bond formation energy is released. During the bond formation energy is released. Now, what about delta S? Delta S, these are also gas and this is also gas. But when you consider, we have written an formula, delta S is directly proportional to delta Ng. That is number of moles of gaseous, change in the number of moles of gases. That is what the thing. So if you consider delta Ng is number of product, gaseous product minus number of gaseous reactant. How many number of moles of product we have? It is 1 and the reactant is 2. So 1 minus 2, that is equals to minus 1. That is nothing but delta S is negative. Clear? Or else also you can observe. So here we have 2 molecules. 2 molecules will show more random movement when compared to 1 molecule. 2 atoms will show more random movement when compared to 1 molecule. That is nothing but, so the randomness is going to decrease or disorderness is going to decrease. Clear? So if it is decreasing, so we say that, so it is negative. Delta S is negative. So why delta S is negative? Because entropy decreases. So why it is decreasing? Because entropy decreases or randomness decreases when atoms combine to form molecules. Or this is one of the reason. We can take this one also. Clear it is? That is the same thing. Same thing we have what are written in terms of formula and in terms of calculation. That's it. Next question. For the reaction 2A plus B giving rise to 2D, delta U naught is given, delta S naught is given. Calculate delta G naught for the reaction and predict whether the reaction may occur spontaneously or not. So we shall check the equation now. So here, if at all, if you have to check delta G naught. So we have already studied in our last class. So naught indicates the standard. So that is nothing but the reactant and products are in their standard state. So the reaction is taking place, the reactant and products are in the standard state. Then the enthalpy change, entropy change and the Gibbs energy change for a reaction becomes a standard Gibbs energy change, standard internal energy change and standard entropy change. So we have a formula delta G naught is equals to delta H naught minus T delta S naught. So we have been given with all these things. So we need to find out now. We need to find out now whether the reaction, how it is becoming, whether it is spontaneous or not. To do that one, delta H naught is not given. Delta H naught is not there. But we have a delta U naught given. So we are going to use delta U naught and we'll be calculating delta H naught for that. So delta H naught is equals to delta U naught plus delta Ng RT. Reaction is given, from that delta Ng we are going to calculate. So delta Ng to calculate. So all are gases. Reactants are gases, products are gases. So delta Ng will be what are a product, number of gaseous product minus number of gaseous reactant. So delta U naught, let me write, that is 10.5 kilojoule they have given, but delta S naught is in terms of joule. So no problem, it is in terms of kilojoule, and we know that answer whatever we are going to write, that may be delta G naught or delta H naught, it should be in terms of kilojoule only. So that's why we are going to write in terms of everything in terms of kilojoule only. So let me write this one also in terms of kilojoule plus delta Ng value. Delta Ng is nothing but, so delta Ng is equals to number of moles of product is 2 minus 2 plus 1, 3 it is. So that is equals to minus 1. So this is also gas, this is also gas. Here 2, here it is 1. So that's why it had become 3. So now it is minus 1. Delta Ng is minus 1 and R value, R is 8.314. Just it is plus. So it is 8.314. It is in terms of joule, but everything we are going to take in terms of kilojoule. So that's why let me convert this also in terms of kilojoule. So this is also kilojoule per Kelvin per mole it becomes. So per Kelvin per mole. And temperature, so they have not mentioned any temperature in the reaction. That means that it is 298 Kelvin. 298 Kelvin. Clear? Now. So now if at all, if it is solved, if you are going to solve the entire thing, you'll be getting the answer as 12.978 kilojoule. 12.978 kilojoule. Clear it is? Followed. So 12 point. So just a minute. Mole is not cancelled here. It is minus 1 mole because we have mole here. So it is number of moles. So that's why minus 1 mole. Mole per mole gets cancelled. Kelvin per Kelvin gets cancelled. This is one part. This is one part. Kilojoule is the common term we are going to take. And we got delta H naught as minus 12.978 kilojoule. Clear? Now we need to substitute for the above formula. That is delta G naught is equals to delta H naught minus T delta S. T delta S naught. So we'll substitute delta G naught. Delta G naught is equals to delta H naught is minus 12.978 kilojoule minus temperature is 298 Kelvin, 298 Kelvin, and the delta S naught value, it is already given, minus 44.1. I'll write the units down. Joule per Kelvin, it is joule per Kelvin. So if at all, if it is joule per Kelvin, you can convert that one as kilojoule. So by multiplying that one with 10 to the power of minus 3, 10 to the power of minus 3. Clear it is. So 12.978 kilojoule minus 298 Kelvin into minus 44.1 into 10 to the power of minus 3 kilojoule per Kelvin. So it becomes kilojoule per Kelvin. So we have, if at all, if it is solved, minus 12.978, it is kilojoule, and it is minus into minus, it had become plus. So it is 13.112 kilojoule, that is equals to answer plus 0.134 kilojoule. So delta G naught value is plus 134 kilojoule. It is positive. Delta G is positive. So that's why the reaction is non-spontaneous. They have asked whether the reaction may occur spontaneously or not. No, the reaction is not spontaneous. It is non-spontaneous. It is because delta G is positive in nature. If delta G is positive, then the reaction is non-spontaneous in nature. I hope it is clear. Next problem. So the equilibrium constant for a reaction is, what will be the value of delta G naught? So equilibrium constant value is 10. And they have asked us to calculate delta G naught. We have a formula, delta G naught is equals to minus 2.303 RT log K Kc or Keq, equilibrium constant. If you write simply K, that is also fine, no problem. So we'll start substituting 2.303 R value. So K equilibrium constant it is. So we don't have any unit for this one. So R is, they have already mentioned, it is 8.314 joule per Kelvin per mole, and temperature they have not given, they have given that is 300 Kelvin. So it is 300 Kelvin log 10. So we know that log 10 is 1, log 10 value is 1. So the remaining thing, if at all, if you are going to solve, the remaining thing, if you solve, you'll be getting the answer as. So that is minus 5527 joule per mole. Kelvin gets cancels. Joule per mole you'll be getting. You can solve that one as minus 5.527 kilojoule per mole. So that is the value of delta G naught value. Clear? Now, so now the next question. So next question is about comment on the thermodynamic stability of NO given. So that is where they have been given an reaction. It is not only NO and NO2 also. NO2 given. Clear? So they have given the reaction based upon that which is stable. Either NO is stable or not. NO2 is stable or not. That is what we need to find it out. So if at all, if you check for NO. So for NO, if you check. So what about delta H value? Delta RH or delta R naught, RH naught is nothing but enthalpy of reaction. So enthalpy of reaction is positive here. So if at all, if it is positive, that means that the process, the formation of NO is unstable in nature. Why it is unstable? It is gaining the energy. Positive means it is gaining the energy. It is taking the energy from the surrounding. So if it is receiving or gaining the energy, which increases the energy of the product. Clear? More the energy, less is the stability. So more the energy, less is the stability. So it is gaining energy. So that's why it is positive. So for NO2, if you check, delta RH naught is equals to negative it is minus 74. That means that energy is liberated out. When energy is liberated out, so that is nothing but energy of the product is decreasing. Energy of the product is decreasing. If energy decreases, stability increases. So it is stable. It is stable in nature. Clear it is. So stability and energy are inversely related. More the energy, less is the stability. Less the energy, more is the stability. Clear? So in our next class, we'll discuss about the synopsis, that is competitive part, synopsis, as well as some problems we'll discuss. Thank you.